My friends, it's time for us to talk to my friends and your friends, our great pals from C60EVO.com. And before I get any of the nomenclature incorrect, let me just welcome you, dear friends. Since the last time we spoke, I always love speaking with you. It is fun. It is product centered, of course, but it's always great because you're terrific people, and I'm not being gratuitous. What is up in the world? First of all, any of you jump in. What are we talking about? And why is this the greatest stuff ever that I have ever imagined? We'll talk about this in a moment. Tell me what you do. Tell me what this is so that C60 is now, people are more aware of it.
Well, this body cream that you are loving, we put a lot of effort into this. This is our most recent product. We all three have it. I just loaded it on my hands because it feels good. Now I smell wonderful. But the reason for the nice smell, tangerine, is because on an apothecary or the scent level, it makes people happy when you smell citrus. And tangerine is specifically a really positive scent. So when you've got something that has the actual formula that's changing people's skin and hair and body on a cellular and subcellular level, now we've got it in a skin rich cream that is also really lovely to the nose. So it helps on many, many levels, but I also love, it's called C60 Evo Rich Body Cream with Tangerine and ESS60, which only our lab makes, and my partners are the ones manufacturing it, only ones in the world.
Now, Chris Burris, who was you're the chief, you're the Panjandrum, you were the wizard.
Oh, gotta write that down.
Make note of that. He is a put it this way, he is a peripatetic parvenu of sorts. Chris, what is, explain a little bit of the rudiments of what this is, because this is not some elixir you can get anywhere else. This is mind-boggling.
First, I have to ask, what'd you call me?
Nothing but respect. It is an encomium, sir. An encomium.
So what we're talking about is, and by the way, I'm holding up a model of a molecule, right? And if you're listening, just imagine a soccer ball where the lines on the soccer ball represent the bonds between the carbon atoms. So you have a spherical molecule of 60 carbon atoms in the shape of a soccer ball. The molecule was discovered in 85. The scientists who discovered it won the Nobel Prize in 96. They thought the molecule would be toxic. Instead of being toxic, the test subjects that they gave it to, in this case, it was Wistar rats, lived 90% longer than the control group. So the single longest longevity experimental result on mammals in history, peer-reviewed published research, is because of this molecule dissolved in olive oil, and it's really the C60 Evo formula. And it's a spectacular formula. It's got spectacular results. Our most consistent testimonial is people take it in the morning, they report mental focus and energy during the day, and then better sleep that night. If you improve sleep, and by the way, that's not all we think we're improving, but if you just improve sleep, you will improve your mental, physical, and emotional well-being.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so that's where we kind of hang our hat. And then we've got, theories about how it's working, which are supported by science. Like it's a pretty spectacular journey that Patty and I are on.
Now, sometimes there are people who've used the word, Chris, C60, and they confuse it with other things. A little moment of clarification. What is this and what is it not? What should consumers be aware of?
Good one.
Do not be fooled, because sometimes they'll throw words around and it's like, well, that's kind of what you said. What exactly chemically are we talking about here? And that the consumer should be aware of.
Yeah, so you bring up a very interesting point. C60, carbon 60. Again, there's 60 carbon atoms in the shape of a soccer ball. We're the oldest and longest manufacturer of this molecule on the planet. When you think about that original study, when you take this molecule into the health space, that study is that transition into the health space is dependent on a study where we provided the material. So our lab provided the material, and our lab is mentioned in that original study. So when other people are in kind of the C60 health space, they're referencing this paper. They're actually referencing work that mentions us. The way we think about it is C60 is for industrial applications, and there's peer-reviewed published research that if you improperly process C60, it's harmful. ESS60 is C60 that's been processed for people and pets. And so that's the demarcation. If you want to put this in industrial lubricants, if you want to put this in batteries and tires and photocells, yeah, we call that C60. If you want this to be a health product that will actually have a positive impact on your body's ability to do its job, then you would actually talk about ESS60.
So, and that's what we are here, just so that people understand. We will not be, believe me, we're not going to be going through this much work and this much effort to subversively put out some product that harms. Now, Patty, you have talked about this in a way that, you know, Chris is super clinical. Of course, I understand he wears a white coat at all times. It's the strangest thing in the world. He has a suit that's white.
This is what I sleep in. Like, I'm very comfortable.
Right. But from a, and I don't want to say this, but from a more, for lack of a better word, spiritual, metaphysical, why is this so great? And what have you personally noticed and that brought you into this discovery and this venture in the first place?
Wow, what a great question. I love your intellect, number one. I listen
As
to
do
your
I.
Huh? Yes,
As
right?
do I. Yes, yes.
I never see Chris write down words other than when we do interviews with you.
Right.
And hopefully it's a compliment that he finds
Oh,
later.
absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
know. So for me, I do take it on a much more esoteric level because I watch the frequency of the world. I watch way too much news like you do. I could be an influencer, but I would be shot for sure because I look too deep. I'm a documentarian, so I show up with receipts and evidence, massive amounts of evidence. My screenshot library is making my computer slow down. And I send out to family and friends on a regular basis what I see. And I think it's pretty weighty, heavyweight to know what's going on like you do,
Oh, yes.
like a lot of people do. And I know that my brain would be faltering if I wasn't taking C60 Evo. And I only recently learned from Chris that it's about mitochondria in the brain, that it changes literally our personality because we have a more clean brain. And when I say that, it sounds really weird, but the mitochondria is the powerhouse of every cell. And in the brain, we have 200 mitochondria per cell compared to the rest of the body. Pardon me?
2 million.
2 million. What did I say?
200.
Oh, 2 million.
200, 2 million.
Thank you.
That's Mr. Punctilious over here, Chris.
Mr.
Always-
Punctilious. I'm
Yes.
surprised I said that because for me, it's about the brain, but also the pineal gland, which is where we go a little more spiritual. The pineal
The
gland
third
is
eye.
the third eye. And it's this little pine cone in the back of the brain. As we clear the mitochondria, we don't clear it, but I'm going to have Chris explain how it literally cleans. But all I know on a esoteric level is we feel better when we take it mentally and spiritually.
Well, let me give you this one. Let me give you, first of all,
Please.
I go through this stuff. Like I'm thinking to myself, I need more of this.
Okay.
When I heard and I'll tell you the truth, I'd say, okay, yeah, a little shot of olive oil. Okay, yeah, that's gonna make a lot of difference. Okay, sure. Well, let me tell you what I'm doing now. Recently, I'm doing overnights on WABC, and I've got my unique schedule of 1 to 5 a.m. My circadian rhythm stopped. It's out of whack. I'm out of it. I thought maybe it's blood sugar. We always go for that blood sugar. All of a sudden, by doing the teaspoon, just that maybe it's a placebo. Maybe I whatever people will say it is. But it is markedly different in terms of my alacrity, my mental celerity, my ability to focus, and just this. Because when you're talking for 4 hours, you start. I was saying things in languages shaman didn't even understand. Saying, what is he saying? And I realized maybe I'm having either a psychotic, a schizoaffective behavior tantrum, but it worked, and it solidifies and it focuses. No BS, kids. I'm not lying to you. It's true. So whatever it is, mitochondria, who cares? It works.
It
That's all
works.
I care about. It is phenomenal.
I agree. And I think when people that are close to me, they say, how do you do it and not get really out of your mind? It's the Evo. There's something that just emotionally balances when your brain is alive. And I think that with the food and everything that we're being dosed with, we have really tested our survival skills of the brain and the heart connection. And with all the fighting of neighbors and people, I mean, I live in Colorado where um, I won't even say. It's just embarrassing. That's all I want to say. But, we just had a guy throw flame torches downtown Boulder in front of our city hall. And it was our place with all of our government offices. And he's standing there with the images and he's ready to throw a torch. But you see the Boulder, Colorado City Hall with a big, huge pride flag hanging in your face. The streets downtown, rainbows painted, rainbows across every street that's downtown so that everybody can notice. But the roads are broken and they haven't been fixed. They haven't fixed the surface of the roads, but they keep repainting it when people do skid marks because, well, the messaging. So for me, I feel super tested because I have family and I really care about the consciousness of children. And if the
Oh,
adults
yeah.
if the adults would start just getting on some brain food, then we wouldn't be pushing our kids to do things like what we're watching. And we just had all these, you did a show today that you dropped about a half hour before we went live on No Kings. And your first question to me was, what do you think? And I think it's a really sad time right now. On the other hand, I think that we need to empower the public. And how can we do that best? We can offer a remedy that frickin' cleans your brain out of so much garbage.
See what
And
she just did? Did you see what Patty just did? Patty can say, she could talk about anything, and all of a sudden connects it with this. And how do we fix the world? With C60. Fantastic.
Evo,
Look, let me tell you about me. I had something on my leg. It was a mung, some type. I don't know what it was. It's no big deal, really. I went to my dermatologist, but nothing. He goes, "Can you hydrate it?" So I happen to have, believe it or not, this. So my dermatologist said, "What is this? You have a nice hydrating." I said, "Yes." And I open and the smell. I snort this. I'm not snort it, but I sniff it. No, because call it aromatherapy. She says, "What's this?" So I gave it that. I don't know if she bought anything. I said, "This is the most incredible stuff." Men in particular, this is my wife's going like this. I thought my wife was giving me this Italian kind of hey. No, it's the elbows, feet, knees. She says, "You have to do this." I said, "I'm a man. I don't do this stuff. I don't care about my chafed elbow. It doesn't matter." Well, that changed with this. Because when I come out of the shower, it takes a couple of minutes, but that smell. This is, you know how some things are greasy and there's greasy and liquidy, and there's this wonderful continuum where it's got to be thick enough to stay, but not too goopy, and it's got to be liquid enough whereas it sticks and adheses without. This is the perfect. I don't know what you would call it. It immediately rubs in. It smells terrific, and you see effects. And my wife, bless her heart. And by the way, we have a friend of the family who's into this, sells cosmetics. So we get all this expensive stuff, really expensive. I'll put this up against anything. This is my favorite. This is Rich Body Cream Tangerine. I'm telling you, if you're listening around, this is it. Men in particular, trust me, feet, knees, elbows, anything. If I could drink this, I would. It's phenomenal.
wow. My family says if I could take a bath in it, I would. So yeah, we all agree. Okay, so you're going to appreciate that I designed the products. Chris, in the beginning, he was like, facial serum, Patty, seriously, we're a bunch of guys. And then he let me. So we created this incredible facial serum, and it works so well that all the guys at the lab look 10 years younger. Chris is no longer a shriveled prune. Look at him. He looks young and fresh. No, he was pretty young and fresh when I met him, but he usually models all the facial products, but they do really work. And when I came in, The last product was the body cream, and they don't fight me anymore at the lab because we know anything you put the ESS60 in, it works. It just does. So we did it in the body cream. And because we are the only real lab making carbon fullerenes at a high level, it's why we named our company C60 Evo, the evolution of the C60 industry.
Not extra virgin oil or something. That's
See, it's the evolution of making industrial grade, that's nice for tires and batteries, to now making it for people and pets where we know it's safe. It's a different cleaning process. It's a higher quality finish. So the ESS60 from our lab is the only one that would be recommended for people and pets. And I'm really surprised that there are other companies still selling industrial. C60 from China, kind of like, why?
Don't. Yeah. Remember when made in China, or actually used to be made in Hong Kong or Japan. But anyway, but China used to connote just cheap. Now you're thinking, human labor and slave labor and Uyghurs and Falun Gong and oh my God. Look, all I know is this. You've been around for a long time. People love this. Trust me. I don't know why we even talk about it. It's safe. We're not going to be selling something that's going to kill you. It doesn't make any sense. Trust me. I mean, I know you, and I appreciate the fact. Listen, you've got a lot of folks out there who are kind of not modifiers, but frauds. People. I'm not going to mention any names, but people who kind of want to kind of ride on your coattails. This is the only one. This is it. This is the original. And you put your heart and soul and your money and your effort and and your dreams in this. You live and breathe this. This is not just we'll give it a shot and see what happens. You don't buy this by the vat and then slap a label on it. This is your concoction. This is your equity. Now listen, Chris, in terms of you being the science dude here, if I were to ask somebody, I had minimal organic chemistry. I don't know a Grignard reagent from a hole in the ground. But what exactly is this chemically, scientifically? Give us kind of a scientific way of why this works and what the body uses.
So I'm going to get a little sciencey, and then I have a fun analogy that I think will tie it all together. So we know from peer-reviewed published research that this gets into the mitochondria. And we also know from way back in the 90s, this can hold up to 6 negatively charged particles on the exterior of this soccer ball shaped ESS60 molecule. How that plays out is, we've already discussed this, mitochondria, powerhouse of every cell. There's between 50 and 5,000 mitochondria in every cell in your body, except for blood cells, which have 0, and brain and neurons, which have 2 million. Like every power source, there's a negative byproduct, right? Your car going down the road has exhaust. Your power plant has a smokestack and smoke. In the case of mitochondria, you have reactive oxygen species. These are negatively and positively charged particles that I like to picture them like little bumper cars. They run around everything they smash into. They're causing oxidative stress, oxidative damage. Ultimately, inflammaging is caused by these reactive oxygen species. Internal to the mitochondria, you have 2 great antioxidants to manage those reactive oxygen species, and those are glutathione and melatonin. I like to pause here because melatonin is the sleep hormone, and our most consistent testimonial involves sleep, so there's nice parallels there. So what happens when a mitochondria gets stressed and the glutathione and melatonin are overwhelmed? That's when those reactive oxygen species run around doing that oxidative stress, that oxidative damage, that inflammaging. So where we think the ESS60 molecule sits in is, again, we know from peer-reviewed published research it's in the mitochondria. When that mitochondria is overwhelmed and producing more reactive oxygen species than can be managed internally, this ESS60 molecule holds on to them so they can't run around and do any damage. And then when that mitochondria replenishes the glutathione and the melatonin, they can then manage them appropriately. So here's my analogy. And like all good biology analogies, it should start with Mardi Gras, right? Because a lot of biology happens at Mardi Gras, I think.
You're telling me.
So it's the end of Mardi Gras, and you have these drunk reactive oxygen species running around Bourbon Street, causing oxidative stress, oxidative damage, that inflammation. And you have the New Orleans Police Department, the glutathione and melatonin, coming in and handcuffing themselves to those reactive oxygen species and getting them off of Bourbon Street. But what does the New Orleans Police Department do when they get overwhelmed? They take those reactive oxygen species and they put them in a paddy wagon. They attach them to the ESS60 molecule. And then when they can replenish the glutathione or replenish the melatonin, they can then handcuff themselves to those reactive oxygen species and get them off of Bourbon Street. And that's why we say that the ESS60 molecule is the boss buffering oxidative stress system. That's our boss theory. Now, how do you boil all this down? If you're reducing the negative impact of stressed mitochondria, you should have head-to-toe testimonials. And of course, we actually have head-to-toe testimonials.
Now, you say something. Did I hear you correctly, Chris? Chris, you said inflammaging. It's almost like a conflation, a portmanteau, if you will, of Dear Santa. Thank you for the plastic sausages. No, this is like inflammation and aging. The thing I love about inflammation and free radicals and antioxidants is that free radical is this mischief maker. He's looking for a mate. He's looking for somebody to I'll take you. And they're very dangerous. When they're not stable, when they're reactive, the free radicals, they're out there and they wreak all kinds of havoc. And this either stabilizes them, pairs them, secludes them, puts them in the paddy wagon. By the way, with all due respect to the Irish, that's very rude, but it's one of our terms. It's like cop and copper. What are you going to do? Sue me. But there's science to this. There's something to be said for this. And we're not just making it up. You're not making it up. It's true. But better than that, you feel it. I don't give a damn about mitochondria if I don't feel it. I don't know what my mitochondria feel like. But if I feel less stress, if I'm able to sleep, if my skin doesn't look reptilian anymore, that's all I care about. That's it. So you have all of this great science, but actual clinical application that makes sense. If that makes any sense.
It does. And they just dropped another $150,000 doing a new test to prove the non-toxicity and the power nature of what this molecule can do for the human body, mind, spirit. They probably don't go spirit. They go body, mind. They might even go just body because, I go immediately mind because that's what I notice. But I'm a walking testimonial, and that's why Chris and I met. I was tested to the max with different poisons. First mercury, that was fun. And then uranium in 2019. And I survived that, and it was a horrid recovery. But I got on the Evo, and I started sweating bullets. And I detoxed so hard and fast with C60 Evo. Now, most people won't be dealing with things like mercury or uranium unless they go to a dentist or trust a creep that, used to be in the industry of radioactive materials.
By the way, stop for a second. That story, we have to do like a whole section of how many people say uranium and mercury by trusting a creep who's there. But anyway, I say, wait a minute, what?
Oh, no, they were 20 years apart.
No, okay.
I'm just saying, I feel like a walking science experiment, but look at me. I mean, I'm alive. My brain is on fire. I'm scary with my brain, and I blame this product, but I also have the big bottle. So, I don't take it lightly. I have connections. I don't have to pay full price, but luckily neither does your audience. And the thing about C60 Evo is that I'm a walking testimonial. Last year, I had 2 hip replacements. Now, I know half a dozen people that have had the same surgery since I did, because I'm, kind of attracting and meeting. I'm the only one I know that's had such an easy time. I almost feel guilty. But I was also taking the C60 Evo when I was bone on bone hurting. And I made 2 extra years because of the inflammaging benefits of C60 Evo. The olive oil being extremely strong. It's the strongest that any oil on earth that we have found will hold. I have a new oil in mind. I'm going to send an email to the guys, but here I am coming up with a new idea. It's endless. There's nothing, in my opinion, that we've tested it on that it doesn't work. And that men and women equally love the face serums and the body creams is a sign that it's a product that is universal.
I got to ask this question. How
Yeah.
did you come upon this in the first place? Of all the chemicals and all the potions and all the elixirs and all the anti, or if there is an inflammaging, how did you come upon this?
I
Yeah.
got lucky.
So our other business partner, Robert, was actually working at the University of Houston back in 1990. And he was separating this material so that it could be used in superconductivity research. And one day, the lead researcher, he's actually quite famous in the superconductivity realm. His name's Dr. Paul Chu. Dr. Chu came in and said, hey, you guys are young guys. This molecule is selling for $6,000 a gram. You should go start a business. And our business partner, Robert, is from an entrepreneurial background. I kind of joke that he did a back of the napkin calculation, which looked exactly like $6,000 per gram. That was it. And then off and running, he was manufacturing it. He brought me in to help with the manufacturing process. And in the early days, it was used for commercial purposes, kind of really what we say C60 is used for: inks, batteries, tires, and photocells. And then eventually we decided to get into the market. It took us some time to really, the supplement market is very challenged. And we were very happy as happy-go-lucky carbon nanomaterial scientists. But eventually our customers just started demanding more and more products. And so we finally got into the market to deliver value. And we're the oldest and longest manufacturer of the molecule on the planet. We provided the material in that original study, and we thought it was the right thing to do to make sure that consumers stay safe in the space. And that's all tied into ESS60.
And now, Patty, how did you join this? Because I'm curious about this unique. You got the spiritual and the chemical. I don't want to keep saying spiritual. And by the way, I don't say that. That's the highest compliment I can ever give somebody who is beyond. But how did you two meet?
Thank you. I am rather beyond to most people, but I'm not sure it's in the same way. I used to make crop circle films, completely off the wall.
By the way, stop for a second. Listen, she's one of us. She's one of us. Chris was actually an alien, hence the glasses. That's how they met. They're not going to tell you this. He was in a ship from Uranus, which is a long story. But anyway, crop circles. But I'm saying, just so the people know, you're one of us. You know what I mean? Capiche? You're a part of the crew. Anyway,
I used to be very well known for my films. And let's see if I can move the computer. There are 2 of my EBE awards from the International UFO Congress. And next to the big, huge amethyst are a couple of bottles of crop circle nodes, which are heads of the wheat that are bent, and absolutely physical evidence the crop circles are real.
You know who's talking about that now? Joe Rogan. All of a sudden, Joe, he comes along. All of a sudden, he finds something. He goes, "Hey, I just discovered." It's like schmuck. This has been going on for 50 years. But I'm glad you're involved. But now everything that you're saying, and that we've been saying, because this is not some drunk guy with a plank at 3 a.m. Yeah. Now all of a sudden, when he's saying this, they're saying, "Hey, there's something to this." It's like, yes. So listen, if it takes him to make people aware, good. In any event, I'm sorry, I don't mean to. I get excited when we talk about this.
Well, I saw somebody with a huge platform, almost 1 million subscribers, and because I looked up crop circles to see how well the deep state has hidden my movies. I'm not paranoid. I'm experienced. Mm-hmm. I've been through hell, is all I want to say. End of story. But I was nowhere. My films were nowhere, and I won 8 awards, 5 EVPs. Well, anyway, I was a threat to the industry of people that don't want the truth to get out, and they still exist, darn it. But I just did this huge show last week. We're up to 155,000 views in 6 days. I've had 1,850 comments. somebody took down my website. It's the darndest thing. My
Took
sales,
your
my
website?
videos, my films, my streaming. Nobody can get in. They can get in, but they can't make an order. It's so cute how the deep state is just still
Well,
so
did you fix
scared.
it? Did you
Oh
fix
no,
it?
no, I'm building a new website from
Okay.
scratch because
Well, we'll get to that.
I just have to give up, you know? But here's what I did. Here's what I did because I absolutely know after 100,000 views of people going, oh my God, thank you. This is so great to finally understand. And then you've got a few of them that are like, that nasty girl, you can tell she's a liar. And it's just like, go away, you little troll shit. So anyway, it's been an interesting mix of knowing I'm hacked, watching the reviews and the comments, and just seeing huge world opening up to crop circles. So what did I do? This is how we win. I wrote the host and I said, here's a link for you to give your entire audience of 916,000 people a free link to watch my movies. cropcirclefilms.com/free. I just gave your audience the link to watch my movies. So this is how we win. We just go, you know what, dumb state? Go play and feel like you're really big man that you got my website down again. I don't really care. cropcirclefilms.com/free.
And when you're sitting there watching this, there's no other but get a nice bucket of popcorn and lube up with this. Let me tell you something. Lube up. I don't care what
Lube
you're
up.
doing. Lube up.
I feel like the reason I'm with Evo is I watched the UFO field, which was full of the most fabulous real researchers and four-star generals. I toured with all the greats for 10 years. From 2007 to 17, I was in with Flynn, like with all the daddies, the granddaddies of ufology. I mean, I really honored in them. I love them. I was flattered they came to my movie screenings. And then they all died in a short period of time.
Did you know Stanton Friedman?
Of course.
I was a big fan of him. I interviewed him a couple of times. He was the Mac Daddy of absolute. Excuse me, Chris. We'll get you back in a moment. He was the absolute, just incredible. And by the way,
I'll send you a photo where he's kissing my cheek, and he had just finished a testimonial about my work and my film. Stanton knew how dedicated I was, and he died. Jim Mars died. Roger Lear died. Robert O'Dean died. Like all the greats that are in movie number 2 died in a short period of time. And I got wounded. I don't want to talk about how because people won't believe it's true. I really have gone through hell with being the filmmaker that told the truth about crop circles. Why? Because they're delivering up to 400% more food and biofuel, the technology. So anyway, I delivered that in my final film, which now people can watch for free. But I saw the industry die. And now here we are, where I'm touring again with the big guys. I am partners with Chris and Rob, who own the only lab in the world making the good stuff, ESS60.
Did you see what she just did, Chris? Did you see this? She went from Crop Circle to Stanton Friedman to this and that, and then lubed up with this. Damn, she's good. She just when you think,
I think bring home the bacon.
I think we've lost Patty. She's out there. Nope, here she comes. She goes back again. Listen, a couple of years ago, I used to tell people, I said, remember something, artificial intelligence is going to be the thing that, and they said, what are you talking about? Ta-da! Years ago, I said geoengineering. Used to call it chemtrails. Remember what I'm saying? Ta-da! Believe me, I don't know why there's this reluctance for people to investigate, try something new. And when I want to try something new, it's this. Now let's get down to brass tacks, kids. Somebody says, okay, I love these guys, especially the dude with the goggles. What do I need to do? And how do I get this? If I go to C60Evo.com / by the way, that slash is called a solidus or a virgule. Pay attention. Now, what do they get? Where do we get it? How do we get started? Somebody says, I'm all in. Tell us, Patty and Chris, how can they get this great product and products?
Just go to that link that's in bright red, bold, huge, and you will see basically our store. And if you're careful enough to read the words, you're going to see a secret link for Lionel to give you 10% off by using his link. But there's also at the bottom where it says see the entire store or shop more. You just tap that at the bottom to see everything. What we recommend above all is our starter set, and that is facial serum and the olive oil. It is so wonderfully strong. And I don't know anybody that can do these products and not say, holy crap, that's good. So it comes in 4 ounce or 8 ounce.
That should be your motto. Holy crap, that's good.
And if you love yourself, get the big bottle, 32 ounce.
Now, let me explain something. This olive oil, we're talking about a teaspoon. That's it. We're not. I mean, this is de minimis. It's not a lot. It's so powerful. Don't think that you're pouring this on. No. It's a small amount. That's all you need. It's that powerful. And just wait for you to feel a little kick in your step. It'll melt your butter. You know what I mean?
The other thing is it doesn't have other ingredients. It is ESS60 from our lab because it's a natural occurring molecule, but we can't get enough of it in nature. So Chris and Robert spent years mastering the process, but they were still making industrial until the last 8 years, 10 years, when they moved into this superior ESS60. And then we founded C60 Evo to deliver only products for people and pets. Let's talk about pets. Oh my God.
Please.
Pet testimonials are so touching because 2 of our influencers mentioned that they were going to have to put their dog asleep, and the dogs were big and old. And we said, wait, let us send you some Evo for dogs. And they were totally surprised that we make it for pets. But it's basically the strong formula. With the cats, we put in a salmon essence. The dogs, we put in a bacon essence. And they lick it up. They love it. And the difference in those 2 dogs, 175 pounds, was one totally back. Took him less than 2 weeks, and his dog was bounding up the stairs. And they had to help the dog get up and down to go to the bathroom. And the other, same thing.
Now, we had
a friend that had his cat on the Evo, and the cat just died at 20 years old. 20.
You can't listen. There comes a point where you got to say, enough of this. Now, here's the thing. I want you watching this to say, this is a bunch of crap. Oh, yeah? Okay, I'll tell you what. Try this. Just try this. And I want to say something. This is tested, proven for years, testimonials left and right. The other day, I don't want to go into detail with who said what, but all of a sudden somebody said, hey, what's that? And somebody said, methylene blue. Again, and I said, I'll buy it. I said, do you want to know what it does? No, I'm taking it. It's like, wait a minute. Don't you want to know? No. But yet, when it comes to this, people will say, okay, take that faith. Trust me. You won't get a purple tongue. You will talk about mitochondrial action. This is it. And not only that, what are you going to do with that stuff? You can take this and you can lubricate it. You could use it as a marital aid, for God's sakes. This is it. There's nothing you can't do with this. You can drink it, rub it. You can soak in it. You can lather up. It is incredible. It's the sky is the limit. I believe in this. I'm not saying this just because I'm here, because somebody said, here, just say this. Because my credibility means something, at least to me. And I'm not going to lie to you. This stuff is great, period. I'm not going to say it if it's not true. I love this stuff. And when you smell this, when you get this in your box or your package, go right to this. I'm telling you, something happens. You'll see angels, or I don't know, something happens. That tangerine hits you like that, and it's wonderful. It's the truth. I love
it.
Listen, I don't know about you, but I see people on TV. It's like they're lying half the time. People are making this stuff up. This is legit. It's the best. So C60EVO.com/Solidus or Virgule, Lionel Nation, and just see what's available, and you will absolutely, I'm telling you, it will change your life. And it's natural, and there's no chemicals other than C60, which is God's chemical. By the way, those benzenes are so great. Those little, the way they have to be perfectly conformed to repel each other. remember in organic we did toluene, and then we did this, and then we had little multiple benzenes. That is organic. That is the secret of life. This six-sided beautiful thing where the double bonds move, they float around. It's wild. It's the chemistry and the magic of God, if you ask me. God's got a sense of humor. It's the best. It's the best. I'm telling you, you know what I'm talking about. An entire, it is fascinating what carbon is, but benzenes in particular. So it's wonderful. Dear friends, final word. Patty and Chris. Chris, why don't you go first? Your last testimonial, my friend.
Yeah, so you're right. And it was because there's 20 of these benzene rings on the exterior of this cage that they thought it would be toxic. And again, they put it in that study. Instead of being toxic, the test subjects, in this case, Wistar rats, lived 90% longer than the control group. So absolutely amazing molecule. I love your enthusiasm. I love your words. I have 5. I said I'm only going to write 5 down.
That's
so
okay.
You're giving more. I'm like, I can't. Nope, I can't. I have enough homework. But Lionel, always great to connect with you, and thank you so much for being a supporter.
And Patty Greer, young lady, final words.
Young lady just turned 72, and if people think
no, you're not, you liar.
If people think I'm stubborn, that's why. That's my excuse. I've been here a long time. I've seen a lot of good and bad, and I'm pretty set in my ways of only using Evo products. My kitchen counter, all those supplements that are $30 to $50 to $90 a bottle. So what? I just don't need them anymore. I put the Evo MCT in my morning coffee. I go all day long. If I have 2 or 3 shows a day, which I do today, I'll do a shot of olive oil and I'll be cooking with gas. It is the easiest solution to every ailment that I've ever had. And for me to get through 2 hip replacements like flying, and I can run now, it's all I can do to say no to myself when I see a big lawn and I want to do cartwheels. It's like, no, don't push it. But my brain is still like 38 years old because of the dying Evo, and I don't miss a day. We are getting testimonials from people about no more migraines, about even MS improvement. I'm not making a claim. I'm saying we've gotten testimonials. A couple of people with autism have said, I finally go out.
I'm going to step in here and be the police and say that the FDA has not evaluated our product. It is not intended to treat, diagnose, cure, or prevent any disease. Mentioning specific diseases can be very difficult.
Let me tell you something, Mr. Big Shot. The FDA may not help this, but if you want to poke some poor kid with something, they're all in. They have no problem with that. But God forbid you put together something that's organic and they go, oh, no. Oh, we don't advocate that. But so don't get me started, Mr. White.
I do want to say that if you get on a monthly subscription, which is more than half of our sales every month, because people don't quit. To me, that's our biggest testimonial.
Absolutely.
Unbelievable resubscribes. You save 20% every month, and we send it to you without fail. If you decide you don't want it, can't afford it, whatever, you're stocked up, just drop us a line or call. We don't even ask questions, but most people keep it going because you don't need any more of those facial products or body creams with all those things that have chemicals that you can't pronounce. I don't know what that is, but it's a really long word. Well, ours aren't. This is fruit.
Well,
this is coconut. I mean, it's so basic, but it's also a breakthrough molecule that won the Nobel Prize in the 90s. And we were making it 5 years before it received the Nobel Prize. So I got to say, I'm really proud of C60 Evo's lab. They've been at it longer than anyone on earth, and they're the only ones making the ESS60, which that's all I'm putting in my body. So,
well, let me tell you. And what does Alfred Nobel and this have in common? This is dynamite. Absolutely. How about that?
And these are dynamite. This is me every day.
Patty Greer, thank you. Chris Burris. By the way, Chris has his name on his mug. You probably caught that the first time. I know that's not for sale, but just it's always important to know who you are and have it on your. And by the way,
C60 Evo rocks. What's yours?
Mine says Lionel Nation. So we all have our mugs. Good friends, always thank you so much. Let us talk again. Again, C60evo.com/Lionel. Go on right away, check it. You will be so happy. You will be so happy. I promise you. And don't forget, kids, listen, she's one of us. You know what I mean? Capiche? All right, friends, all the very best.
There it is.
And by the way, it helps that too. If you have that gnarled hand, that Cyclops hand look, it also works well for that. I'm just kidding. That's a terrible joke. It was much better. Yeah. Well, you do when you clean it up. Thank you so much, my friends. All the very best.
Thank you.